What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a new release movie that I've been really looking forward to watching. And this is the newest film from director Ryan Coogler, who has built himself up quite a filmography thus far in his career. And I was really excited to watch this movie for a couple of reasons. Number one, this has a star studded cast. And just from seeing the trailer the initial time, I was like, well, that's enough to kind of draw me in and get my attention. But the other reason is it's a movie about vampires. And vampires, obviously, they've been explored in film for years and years and years now. There's been a ton of different takes and iterations on how vampires work and the mythos behind vampires. And I just find it interesting, not just the approach in the filmmaking, how vampires look, but I also love vampires as a metaphor for something larger. And so many incredible filmmakers. I talked about Robert Eggers' Nosferatu last year, my favorite film of the year. Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass is another recent vampire project that really, holds a special place in my heart. And I could go through film history, tell you all my favorite vampire movies. I've seen a ton that I've really loved, but I was really excited to see what this interpretation of vampires would look like. And the film I'm going to be telling you about today is Sinners. Sinners is directed by Ryan Coogler. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. So I was really excited to watch this movie. Didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but I was hoping that it would be something that I really enjoyed. And little did I know that this would be my favorite movie that I've watched this year so far. Like, oh my God, this movie is remarkable. And that it's so original. It does vampires in a way. There are elements that we've seen before, but the metaphor that this utilizes to explore these very specific ideas surrounding Black culture in this era and how Black culture has been so definitive of art and specifically music throughout history. It's just a really incredible movie. And I really commend Ryan Coogler because it's incredibly original. The cinematography is remarkable. There's some great performances here, and I'm really excited to tell you about it today. So, at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Smoke and Stack, twin brothers played by Michael B. Jordan. And we find out the brothers were in Chicago doing some kind of business, and they managed to get some money together, and they're coming back home to Mississippi, where they lived most of their lives. And this is in the 1930s. And they're purchasing this old sawmill from this racist old white guy. The altercation at the beginning of the movie, it's really tense. There's a really great build up, like what's going to happen. Guys pull their weapons, but they eventually just give him the money and say, hey, we don't ever want to see one of your guys around here ever again, especially clan members. If they show up here, we're going to kill you all. And he kind of laughs it off and says, no, we just want your money. We're leaving. Bye. So he takes off, and we find out that the reason they're purchasing this sawmill is because they want to build a juke joint, which back then, juke joints were places that the Black community could come together and experience music. They could drink, they could gamble, and it was literally an escape from all of the horrors that were occurring in the South at that time period. And that's where the creation of a lot of amazing art came from, and specifically blues music. And our other main character in the movie is Sammy, played by Miles Caton, who is a young man that lives at home with his minister father that is very against him pursuing blues music. He loves playing guitar. He's constantly involved in his music, and he wants to pursue a career in music because it's what makes him feel fulfilled, and it's what brings him a ton of joy. And he meets up with his cousins, Smoke and Stack, who want him to play there. And through the beginning of the movie, we're introduced to all these different characters who are going to come together to open up this juke joint. While simultaneously, at the beginning of the film, we are told about this lore of creatures, these vampires, who can be allured by music. They can be drawn in by music. It says music. There's these people who embody this specific talent when it comes to music that can draw in people from all over the place, but it also draws in evil. And in this case, it's our blues musician is drawing in an evil vampire. And the entirety of the film is the first night that the juke joint is open. This group of 3 vampires shows up because they're trying to seek out Sammy. And the entirety of the film is this group of characters fight for survival from these vampires. So like I said, this movie is nothing short of remarkable. And I'm going to go through the list because there's a ton of positive things to talk about. For starters, the performances in this movie. Number one, Michael B. Jordan. phenomenal. He plays two characters. They're so distinctly different, yet you can feel the twin connection in a way that feels very realistic. And I love that. Just whenever we were cutting between scenes, I just love the distinction between the two characters. And it takes a really special kind of actor to be able to deliver that level of performance. And I thought he was really great. The young Miles Caton, like I said, plays Sammy. Remarkable. I saw that he trained for a very long time playing blues guitar for this movie, and my God, his voice is amazing. The way that he performed, that he commanded the screen whenever he was there, he was truly incredible, and I feel like he brought a lot of electricity to the screen. Hailee Steinfeld is great in this movie when she's in it. Jack O'Connell, who plays the lead vampire, is phenomenal in this movie. I feel like he really delivers an electric performance. He was very charismatic, and he does a really great villain, and when he's kind of putting out there why he's doing what he's doing, I just thought they did a really nice job with his character. And just every single actor and actress in this movie blew me away. There were so many electric performances, and I feel like so many of these characters just have such distinct personalities that really, like, even when like a smaller character is introduced, they bring so much to the screen, which is what makes the movie such an enjoyable viewing experience. The cinematography in this film might be one of the prettiest looking movies of the entire year so far. I know there were a lot of places that were doing 70 millimeter screenings. I was not lucky enough to be able to see it in that format, but I saw it on an enormous Dolby screen with some of the best sound imaginable, and this thing looks amazing. The production design is incredible. The costume design, I love the look of the vampires. There's so much attention to detail and their piercing eyes in this. And there's a scene in particular where the vampires at the beginning are they're outside of the building and they're like playing songs together, and their eyes are like almost completely in shadow and you don't see anything, and when the eyes come into view, it's such great filmmaking because it builds tension and you know it's coming because you've seen the eyes early on, but there's something about it that just really like sends chills up your spine, and it just feels like real filmmaking. Like so many movies nowadays, there are good movies that are made nowadays, but like when you watch a movie like this just feels like something from a completely different era. And that's what I love so much about it. And the filmmaking is such an enormous part of that. The music in this is remarkable. There are so many great original tracks in this. The way that music is such a core focal point in this. I'm so glad I watched it in the Dolby screen because the sound was to the point in moments where it felt like it was shaking me. And I love that. I love when the music is so alive, plays such an important role in the overall success of the film. And it's remarkable. The score in this, I can't wait to purchase a copy of this on vinyl if it gets made, because I just love the score of the film so much. And what I love so much about this movie is there's a ton of different things that you can unpack. But really at the central core of this, what I got out of the movie first and foremost, it obviously tackles a lot of topics that you've seen in film before when it comes to like racism in the South in this time period, the way people are introduced. There's an amazing scene early on where our lead character, Smoke and Stack, are going to this they're going to this store to pick up some product, and we don't realize it early on when they pull in, but it's on the black side of the street, and we see the segregated area, and the way that the camera cuts to the white side of the street when a character walks across, it feels like you're being transported into a completely different world. The way that it's color graded, the way the stores are presented, and I think like showcasing how visceral and palpable racism was at this period in time in the country, Coogler does it just so seamlessly, and it's incorporated into the story in a way that you feel it, but it's not just like preaching it to you. It's like it's a part of the world. It's making the viewer experience it in a raw and realistic way. And I think that that's really a way to open people's eyes up to the horrors of racism. And I thought that that was such an amazing part of the movie that worked really well. But at the core of this, I think this movie is about the beauty of Black art, because looking back through history, whether that's in film, television, music, so much of the core fundamentals of everything that exists, so much about current art and the state of art in the United States of America specifically, comes from Black excellence. And this movie is showcasing the blues, which is music that is so deeply rooted in Black culture, and how much blues impacted rock music, hip hop, just so many different genres of music throughout time were solely influenced through Black culture. And what I thought was interesting was I felt so much like the allegory of this movie was the vampires in this and the vampirism from this white vampire was appropriating and trying to steal black culture, which is so true throughout history. How many white artists have appropriated and used black culture and music? And there's obviously influence, and people can draw from influences. Even early on, I look at bands like Led Zeppelin that I was big into when I was growing up, that like so much of their identity and core of their band was taking ideas and songs straight from blues artists. And so you see that over time. And it's like you think about the horrors that the black community have experienced through racism and slavery and segregation and in the United States throughout history. And this movie is so much looking at black people being able to appreciate the art that they created, being able to appreciate a sense of community, being able to come together in a space where they feel free and accepted and alive. And this one night before all the stuff with the vampires happens, before the people come in and kind of infringe on this joy that they're experiencing, what it means to be alive in that moment. And I just thought it was so incredibly beautiful. And Coogler paints that picture in a way that's just, it's remarkable. It sent chills up my spine as I was watching the movie. I just could not get over how amazing the subject matter was conveyed. And I really think that he did it. There's one scene in particular. I'm not going to go into detail. It's one of the best scenes I've seen in a movie in like 10 years. It's truly incredible. When you watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but it is amazing. And in the hands of a different director, I don't think it would work as well. He so seamlessly pulls it off, and it really just hits home the message of the movie in a way that I just think is truly amazing. And I cannot recommend enough that you go see this movie in a theater. It's meant to be seen on a big screen. It has some of the best performances of the year. It's enthralling for 2 hours. It felt like it was over in 20 minutes, like it blew by. And it's truly an exceptional piece of filmmaking. Gonna be hard to top. This is my favorite film of the year this year. So have you seen Sinners? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was remarkable. I love it, and I already can't wait to see it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.